Everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be doing another mail call video. We have a lot of mail for today. Link format has just came out, but I'm still getting things from Battles of Legend in the mail, which is awesome. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just a lot. We got a lot of things to open up today, so without further ado, we'll get started. We're using the, as you guys call it, my waifu playmat, but I call it my old school playmat because it has the OG girls on it: Gemini Elf, Dark Magician, Injection Fairly, and DD Warrior Lady, the OG girls. But without further ado, guys, let's get started here. Let's open this up. I actually got my handy dandy box cutter right here, so we can open up things a lot more quicker instead of fighting to open and rip things open, which is never a fun thing to do. So, you guys may be wondering, Seto, why are you getting more Sage with the Eyes of Blue? Well, guys, if you guys don't know on the channel, I actually have multiple Blue Eyes decks. I have 2 of them. I have my rank 8 and my synchro build, so my level 8 Exceed synchro build deck, which is the more popular version. Then I have Chaos Max, and then the fusion version floats around with the level 8 Exceed version. But yeah, so I needed some more Sages, and the fact that Sage was so dirt cheap, I could not turn it down. So I got 3 Sage with the Eyes of Blue. I got 3 Light Swarm Minerva, mainly because I wanted to play Minerva in a whole bunch of different decks, including Light Swarms itself. I know we got Twilight Swarm coming out, so I got that for that reason. I got 3 more Galaxy Soldier. I already own Galaxy Soldier, mind you, but I wanted to run 3 more Galaxy Soldier because it's a good card. I know it was short printed when I got this, so I got this actually before it was announced there was a short print necessarily, but I wanted to run it in a couple of decks, mainly Cyber Dragons. I know people run this in Blue Eyes still. I prefer it in Cyber Dragons. And I also have my other ones in my Galaxy deck, the secret rare versions I got years ago. Oops, sorry about that. That's not me farting, that's my toes. Then we got Evolution Pill. I've been testing this card out. It's decent, and some of the Dino builds you can run it as a 1 of or 2 of, but I'm testing it out. I did get 1 Denko Sekka secret. I already own 2. I got a 3rd one, and the secret looks beautiful. I got a 2nd Crystal Ring. I already own, as you guys know, 1 Crystal Ring, but I got a 2nd one because I've been watching the OCG, and with the Woodbridge engine becoming more popular, I've seen people running double Crystal Wing, and I've seen in the OCG them making double Crystal Wing in certain decks, like Woodbridge Invoked and whatnot. But I wanted to pick a 2nd one up because in case I ever decide to run 2 in a deck. Number 2, I just don't want to keep switching between decks just with 1 card. Then I got another Artifact Sanctum. I already own 3 Sanctums, but I wanted a secret rare version because it looks very nice. And it was cheap, good price, couldn't say no. It's the same thing with Crystal Wing. If this was like a $20 card reprint, like originally came out like a $20 card or something, I would probably straight away from getting an extra one. But the fact that they were so cheap from Battles of Legend, I couldn't say no. I just couldn't say no to that price. They in the words of the Godfather, they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. Konami made me an offer I could not refuse. I said, take my money. So yeah, Battles of Legend, I love that set. It's such a good set, really. So next up we got, ooh, sweet, it came in the mail. So as you guys know, I am rebuilding my Mermail deck, and I wanted to hollow out certain pieces of the deck, mind you. Certain pieces that when I was originally playing the deck in 2014 and 13, I had these as hollows, and I sold them off because they got expensive over time, and I'm repicking them up and actually getting them at cheaper prices than when I sold them, actually. So I made a small profit, I guess you could say. But we have a super rare salvage near mint. This card is like $1 or $2. I sold these like for $3 back in the day, $4, which was amazing because everybody wanted this back then. I think it was because of Necros format, maybe. I forget. And then I got one Samson, the Dragon of Rebirth. This card I've always thought is a little underrated. It's actually a pretty good card. You're not going to play it in every deck, but in certain decks, it's actually pretty good. So we got the salvage for the mermales, which is nice. You got the Samsonite Rebirth, because I actually already have one, but I couldn't find it for the longest time, so I just got a second one because it was like, oh, this needs to make, to be $2 on TCG Player, which is their new thing now instead of $1, which kind of sucks, but get some other cards I kind of want, so I got that. I kind of don't like the fact that they make it, but I know with postage and everything, so I understand it, but so far so good. I've been having no problems with it, no qualms, really. Yeah, so next up we got Guy the Thunder Charger. Same thing like what I said with Crystal Wing. I already own one, but I don't like going through, rotate. When you have so many decks like I do, you don't want to keep rotating, and it takes up so much time doing deck profiles, and it's a waste of time. So I just got one Gaia Charger, one Vision Hero, which was nice. Actually, the main reason I even got any of this was not because of these two things, but because of this card. Which, guys, I'm trying to build a deck of this, an anti-meta stun version of the deck, because I was watching MColt40 a while ago, and he was profiling an OCG deck, and it sparked my interest, and I've been running with a whole bunch of different ideas I'm going to try out. So expect some deck profiles probably in the next couple of weeks or so, and that's the Familiar Possessed deck. Yeah. I know it's very hard to build a deck around this, but I'm trying to build an anti-meta stun version of the deck. It's tough, but I've come up with a couple of cool ideas. Especially with Spellbook Rudra being a very cheaper card, it looks like it's going to be. So yeah, I'm really excited to try to build a deck around them. I have all the other Familiar Possessed, I just needed the light and the dark one, which I didn't own. So that's all. And that's what I got. Next we got some other cool things here. We got Garoth. I never owned Hollow Garoths before, so I got two of those. And then I got, which are not damaged, they just look like, when they were in the packaging process, they just got, came out of the packaging a little weird. But 3 Miracle Contact Fusion. The reason I picked this card up is, I know this card's been expensive before this, but I just got this weird funky feel in my bones. They may come out with some. I know there's a person on my channel that's been wanting me to build Neospatians for like the longest time. I see your comments. I have no knowledge of the deck except Grand Mole and Panther, pretty much, and Contact Fusion because my buddy played that deck. But besides that, I'm just wondering if they're going to come out with some support later on, and this is the reason why they reprinted this. But I just got it because I know there's people, even, if anything, I could use it as good trade bait because I know people that want that card and they don't still have it because apparently in our region, our area, these were a little bit short printed in Virginia for some reason. Like, people were getting one of these per box, and it's very popular because heroes are very popular in my area. And speaking of Familiar Possessed, we got the trap card here, which I'm trying to open it up, and I'm wondering if the light one, what else I got in here, because I think I got something else besides the trap card, because the trap card was like super cheap. So let me just try to open this without damaging it, guys. Give me a second, please. But yeah, kind of looking forward to building the deck. It's one of those decks that I've always looked at it and I thought, oh, it looks so cool as an anime-esque deck. It looks like something like an anime deck. Like the artwork I've always enjoyed. I've heard a few years ago, I think it was now, that the guy that originally had made like the reason you saw things like Charmers and Familiar Possessed and things of this nature is the same guy that originally created them all the way back in the GX era. He was still, to this day, being employed by Konami and had always been pushing for new support for the archetype, which is, if that's the story I've heard that story a while ago. I don't know if that's any truth to it, but I've heard that, I know from a couple of articles I read, and people I've talked to over the years that I remember reading similar things. So that's why you always see, I think, random familiar possessed support throughout the years, or charmers support. Originally they were charmers, and they got older, became the familiar possessed. So I'm very excited to build the deck, as this is a really hard thing to open up here without damaging the cards. My. Okay, there we go. Luckily they're all commons, so, and I didn't damage them, so that's awesome. So we got the trap card, which is awesome. We got a, what is it, mass change, because I need another one for a deck of mine I'm building. Nobleman of Arms Gallatin, because the Super Gallatin Astro Pack. I want to hollow these out in case that rumor is true of some rare Noble Knight support. I don't know. And then one Jowgen the Spiritrist, because Jowgen is always a good card to have on hand, because Jowgens are always good. In certain formats, Jowgen just randomly goes up, and it's always good. And especially with the new spellbook support coming out, yeah, you may say Jowgen go up in price. Just saying. Ah, there's the other salvage. Sweet! As we slowly put together the Mermail deck again, which is kind of fun. I'm enjoying doing this, actually, just putting the Mermail deck together slowly back together again. So this one I actually, I didn't know what to get, but I actually noted on the, I think it was the OCG ban list, that Black Luster Soldier had gone from 1 to 2 of in the OCG, believe it or not. And I've been speculating for some time if that may happen to us. I don't know. You know how Konami the TCG is with the, with the OCG. But no matter what, I got a super salvage, and I just got a common BLS in case for some reason BLS comes back to 2 of. And the fact is, I always throw BLS in certain light and dark decks I have, and I actually am really low on just having BLSs on me, because I use a lot of them in like my old school decks, which BLS was very popular in those eras. So things like Goat Control, I have 2 Goat Control decks, and then you have other decks that you run. So it adds up over time. So this card here, I've been paying attention to some OCG decks that I've been played as we're heading into this Link era here together. And I wanted to try to update my kaiju. So I just got a Dark Arm Dragon from Duelist Saga, which, by the way, I know we all love Battles of Legend, but I love this Duelist Saga rarity for Dark Magician. It's my favorite, I have to say, next to the Secret Rare. Then I got one, a Pot of Acquisitiveness, which is a great card, and I want to run this in a couple more decks. We have 3 Magical Breaker Field thingy, and I'm thinking of running this with set rotation and kaijus, which I've seen it being done in the OCG, so we'll have to see. But that's what this card's for. It's pretty good with set rotation and against, if you're playing kaiju deck. So I may run it with Kaiju Waterfront and things of that nature. So not in the relinquished build of the deck, that's a lot different, but in other builds of the deck that I do have and I do run, that is a possibility. Oh my gosh, open up. There we go. Jiminy Crickets. Thank you for taping it up so nicely. My lordy, lordy, lordy. Ay, chihuahua. Alright. I'm going to put this away. It's got too much tape on it to keep. Okay, there you go. They did put it in sleeve. So we got Wolf. I already have a lot of the Hollow Light Swarm stuff, but in case I wanted to build a separate deck of Twilight Swarm, which I know it's going to be somewhat expensive, but I don't think it's going to be super expensive. And I know the deck is not amazing, but I want to play around with it, because ever since I played, I hated Light Swarm back in the day. Like, Priority with JD is not a format you want to go through, guys. If you remember that back in the day, if you're an old school player with Priority and JD and stupid crap. But in case I did, I got the hollow stuff because it was super, super, super cheap. And also because I just want, in general, hollow out my Light Swarm deck that I do own. So Raidens and Galroths and things of this nature is why we got them. Which is, yeah, that's the main reason why I got most of this Hollow Out rarity stuff. And just good generic stuff that was expensive at one point in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's now got reprinted. I wanted to pick it up in case I ever use it for said deck in the future. You know, like things like Cactus Bouncer. Yeah, there's no deck right now I would put it in, but you know, there's always a possibility a deck comes out and this card goes back up in price because it's done that before, and it's a good card overall to have. You know, it's only got one other reprint. Then we got 3 Solar Recharge, which is really nice. I'm so happy I get better rarities. I've been using the gold rares that came out years ago, so I get to upgrade them, which is nice. Trying to make Hollow Light Swarms. It's kind of fun. I mean, I'm not going to run Turbo Pack JDs, but, you know, I just want to run nice looking Light Swarms. Like I have the Duelist Saga JDs I run now from the older ones I used to run. Okay, Chain Summoning. Alright, you guys are wondering where I got Chain Summoning. There's only one reason why Seto Kaiba would ever get Chain Summoning is because he made up his mind, even if the rarities are high, okay, even if the cards are expensive, Seto Kaiba wants to play the deck. And Seto Kaiba made up his mind to play said deck. Because Seto Kaiba wants to say, fudge the meta. Okay, so I already have one other Chain Summoning that I had in one of my binders I found. So I need to get 2 more, and they were $1 a piece, and this is for Trick Stars. You guys are saying, well, Trick Stars will be expensive. Listen, if the trap card is like 20 bucks, great. You know, after pre-release. Like, not before pre-release, like after the set drops. If it's like 20, 25, okay, that's something I can swallow. I've liked the archetype. I've been playing with set archetype without links, and I like set archetype. So, if that's enough, yeah, I'm building the deck. So, as long as it's not like, oh, the trap card's like 60 bucks with $50, like a diagram, which I highly doubt, because it's, the trap card is good, but it's not as good as diagram, or, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah. Next, we got Time Lords. Now, okay, if anybody can message me on Facebook with a Time Lord deck profile, just using, you know, the Time Lords or other mechanics, not Time Lord Psy-frames, please, but something that's, you know, okay. I would love to build this deck, but I really want to build the deck, and I'll probably use it as an engine in future decks, which is why I picked it up. 3 Spellbook of Prophecy. There's different decks I may throw this guy in the future. I really have a good idea. I've even considered maybe running him with the Charmers, but I'm kind of wishy-washy on that. I got another MX Saber Invoker. I already own one. That's a secret from back in the day. I've been using for ever since Madolches came out originally. And then I got another Exciton Knight, but I just got these so I don't have to swap between decks as much, you know. Especially if Exciton Knight comes back, which it probably will. If it got a reprint, there's a reason why. Konami just doesn't reprint stuff and not unban it usually. I mean, BLS, remember when people said, oh, that won't come back? It came back. Yeah. I don't know why. I know why they hit it originally. They hit Pendulums, but now I'm happy they're bringing it back. Can we bring Lavala Chain back now? Please. Please. I know people hate me for saying that, but please. Then we got another Windwitch Raider and another Different Dimension Grounds I wanted to get. Simple as that. Windwitch Raider is actually a pretty good card. Or Vision Windwitch Raider. Not planning on building Vision Heroes, but it's a pretty good card. Next we got something that I had seen a couple of deck profiles in the OCG. I forget which one it is. What was it? I was play testing with it and it actually worked out good. And the card is cheap now. So I picked it up. And, oh yeah, I remember. It was that Ragnarok card. What was it called? Okay, so in Circuit Break, that just came out in the OCG, which we'll be getting in November, I believe. Okay. There was a card, that archetype, I think it's the dragons that are based off older dragons, like Ragnarok dragon, they have that form, and it's, I forget, like, over in the OCG, it works with Macro and D-Fissure, but it's not going to be as good over here, because Macro and D-Fissure are at 1 of, but it's still a decent deck. So I got 2 left offerings, near mint supers, so I could possibly play it